Hello everyone, this is March 1st, 2015. This is a follow-up to a journal flip video I did. I posted this video back in January, but the footage for it was from June or July of 2014. And I've done a few things in different books since then, so I figured I would do an update. Some books I haven't done much in, others I've done a bit more, and then I also have my Documented Life Project album that I've done a few pages in, but I will share that one in a separate video because I had done a separate video for it the first time as well. So all of these pages have already been shown in that previous video, and I will link that in the bottom, just so if you want to backtrack, if you haven't seen it yet, you know where to go. Let me get this out of the way. Now I have used the Daddy Vans furniture polish on my pages to prevent sticking. I just have some of these sheets of paper and whoopsie, some of these sheets of paper in between a few of them just because I don't remember which ones I've done and haven't done, and I don't want them to stick until I know for sure which ones I need to update. So this one is a picture of, these are deli paper flowers that I have done, and I got this idea from Shannon Green, and I know most people already know who she is, but I will link her in the bottom just in case. And you essentially just take deli paper and you're going to draw, well, you cut them out using her instructions, and then you just embellish those flowers using your paints or markers, you know, whatever it is that you have on hand that you want to do these little flowers up. So each of these are individual flowers that have been, I think matte gel medium is what I used to attach them to the pages. And then these circle things here are part of a piece of scrapbook paper that, it was a huge 12 by 12 sheet of these all interlocking together. And I had purchased it to use as a stencil because it's just a fun pattern. I cut part of it off and have used it as little elements because I have more than one sheet of those. And then down here I used a square stencil I have with some modeling paste, so there's some texture there and here. And then this, of course, is just another stencil that I used, I believe, either archival stays on, I think it's archival, but anyway, it stays on, to a stencil with a tool. These are really fun to do while you're sitting there watching television. You know, you can't necessarily bring all your art supplies to the living room downstairs, but you know, it gives you a little bit of something to doodle on when your mind's partially there. This page is quite shiny, and I had taken a bunch of different tissue paper and I think I used decoupage on this one because it's nice and shiny. But first I started off with these weird little elements I had received from a Maya Road, you know, here's your box, whatever you get inside is what you get kind of thing. Warehouse clean out sale or something like that. They're little fabric square embellishments, which I knew I would never use on anything else, so I embedded them underneath the tissue paper to get this interesting little textured element on the page. And then I added some paints from other projects I was working on. I just covered up parts of the paper here, and I also went through with my letter stencils and did some white, I think it was gesso on this particular occurrence, and then I stapled these embellishment, I think these are Tim Holtz tags. This is a picture I took. This is a dock here in Louisiana on the Air Force Base. This is a lake, and this is one of the fishing pier dock things that you can go fish on. And I thought that kind of looked a little interesting on there. I don't necessarily think I will leave it here, but it was mainly to show, when I put the picture up, it was mainly to show that I've left these tags where I could tuck something behind there. But there's the page without the photograph. So, And then I do believe, yep, this one's a work in progress. I haven't gotten very far on. I have taken different pieces of leftover scrap napkin and applied them to the page, and then I've gone over it with gesso to just kind of push them into the background. So I'm not sure where I'm going with that one. And then I do believe I skipped a page. Yes. So then I have a clean off page here. And then this one I was doing while working on one of my documented life pages. I just kind of used the rest of my paint and kept going. And then I cut these circles out because I thought they would look kind of neat on here. And then I've added a bit of color around those. So this is still a work in progress as well. But I like where this is going. I think it's kind of fun. I might do some Uniball white gel pen work in here. And maybe some journaling. So that's it for that one. And then next I have my doodling book that I've shown. And so like I've said before, this is called my geometric journal. And I added a few pieces to these. I added this section here. I continued on this section. And I think I did this section. But you can refer to that old video to see what changed on this particular page. The next page I did a bit more work on was this one. In the original video, none of these hexagons had anything inside them. So you can see where I've gone along and done a little bit of doodling into those different shapes. And then these have been seen before and nothing's changed. This is the next one I've started working on. I decided to do all red, so I've got several different red pens that can provide different shades of red, and I'm just working my way around doing some circular type doodling. And then back here on this page, maybe this one, I was working on this, and as I was going along, I actually messed up. So I will eventually go back through and finish these, but I wanted to start over by doing the row correctly. So I came up with this page. And instead of doing the entire page with the same exact pattern, I changed the pattern in each row to come up with something different. So they all kind of start with the same concept. And to get this where it would line up properly for me, I created a template using some graph paper and just darkened the lines, and that way when I was doing these repeating elements, they were all evenly spaced, because I'm a little anal retentive about stuff like that. So I might add a few more elements to these, but it's just kind of fun creating these you know, chain geometric, you know, even border type elements. This one I did while watching a movie, I believe it was. I got my Staedtler pens out with the real fine tips, and I just started from the center and worked my way out using the different colors and inner I don't know what the word I want is, but you know, made sure they ran into each other in the rows so that they would blend out. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's about 11 different colors going on here as they move out towards the edge. So, you know, it's really tiny circles. It didn't really take a whole lot of time, but it was fun. And I think that's it for this one. Yep, that's as far as I've gotten on my doodling book. And we'll leave this one to last. This one, I think I've done one page in maybe. Alright, well we saw this. No, we didn't see this one. This came after. So this was tissue paper. I added to the page. These were some stamps that I made that I was, and this one here as well, that I was checking out. Same with the circles. I might come back through and cover up my words with some papers or stickers or something, because I just don't like my handwriting. And then this is a couple of pages I've done using leftover paints, same as those ones in the spiral bound I just showed, just to add some stuff on the page so I have something to work with later. And I don't know if there's anything else hiding in here. Oh, there's this one. This was leftover paints from one of my 48 weeks pages. And that might be it for this book. Yep. And this next one is my moleskin, and I did show a couple of pages in here previously. Yeah, like this one. Now, I have put my Daddy Vans on these pages, but I just have these in here because I'm paranoid that they will stick anyway. So I showed those and that one and this one, and then this is my next page I had completed. I used gelatos for the colors in the background, for the clouds and the ocean and the beach. And then I went back, this was inspired by a ATC I was doing for a swap, and I went back through and used, well, I didn't go back through. I used the tissue I'd been cutting apart for the ATCs. I used these seashells. And I glued them to paper, cardstock, and then I went over them with gloss gel, I believe it was, to give them this nice shine. And I cut those out and used them as these elements on the beach here. And my sandcastle is a sticker, and so is my beach chair. I did use some Derwent ink tints, I believe it was, to create the shadow under the chair and around the sandcastle. And to get the fun little wave crashing elements on the page, I used modeling paste. So you got this nice little texture going on here, which is really quite fun. And for the clouds, I have a cloud stencil, and I put that on the page over the gelatos, and then use my baby wipe to remove the gelato to create the white. And then I have this sticker here. One cannot collect all the beautiful shells on the beach, one can collect only a few, and they are more beautiful if they are few, which is Anne Moreau Lindbergh. So this one was a really fun page, and I did this back in August. And then next I have my first page in my Donna Downey Inspiration Wednesdays class. I am not going to explain at all how this was done because it is a paid course, and to know how the steps are done, you really should pay and do the course, but this is acrylic paints and modeling cream, or modeling paste, same thing. So there's that. And those of you who know Donna Downey, this is the brown hole. So this is where we affix our date. And then the next week was this one. And it's just a bunch of different elements from my collage and ephemera bits. And there's some ink splattered on here as well. This one was quite fun. And then the next one I did was this week's. I skipped a week because the previous week just wasn't really speaking to me. I didn't really feel like it was my kind of artwork, so I didn't do that. And that's the nice thing about taking a class, that you don't necessarily have to follow each and every step on it, step by step by step, exactly as you're being shown. You can do your own stuff. And I chose not to do that one because it just didn't feel like something that was me. And then also in her books, if you've seen her books, she has the inclusions, and obviously since this is a pre-bound book, there's no inclusions, and I'm not upset about that at all. I kind of like just doing the spread like this, by having to deal with the inclusion that's in there, and it doesn't bother me that I don't have it. So it's just some real fun texture on here. It's shiny right now because I put Daddy Vans on it recently, and I need to go back across with my towel and buff it off a bit. And then, there's some modeling paste on there, and there's some book pages you can see in the background. So, real fun week this week, and that's it. So I hope you enjoyed seeing a little update on those few journal books, and I will do another video, as I said, for the documented life. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care.